Think of a country that rose from the ashes of oppression into the light of freedom, a place built on hope and the promise of a new dawn. We speak of Liberia, known as the land of freedom, whose history is rooted in the courage and resolve of emancipated slaves. Yet, beyond its evocative name, lies a complex reality marked by challenges, conflicts, and the admirable strength of its inhabitants. Welcome to the Fascinating Traditions channel. Here, we unravel fascinating secrets and explore the incredible world around us. Don't miss out on the discoveries. Subscribe now, activate notifications, and embark on this knowledge adventure with us. In Liberia, an African nation characterized by its natural gifts as much as by its geographical challenges, the rainy season takes over daily life for 8 months of the year. This time changes everything, filling the streets with water, halting the operation of markets and schools, and testing the resilience of its inhabitants. Although the rain is vital, it becomes a challenge, provoking a daily struggle against the elements. However, the tenacity of Liberians, forged amid these storms, shines brightly, keeping the spirit of persistence more alive than ever. The rainy season becomes a double-edged sword, mixing destruction with creation, affecting sectors such as agriculture, fishing, and the economy, but at the same time fostering unity, innovation, and adaptation among the people. This period transforms into a time of renewal and reflection, highlighting the impressive resilience of the human spirit. In Liberia, existence is shaped by the whimsical rhythm of the rain, carrying the promise of strength and the hope of more flourishing days, teaching that even in the hardest moments, there is always a way to move forward. Monrovia, the capital, is particularly affected each year by the heavy rains, a situation exacerbated by the lack of government attention in maintaining drains and roads. Neglected drainage systems cause severe flooding that damages infrastructure and disrupts daily life, transforming streets into rivers and sowing chaos. The poor condition of public roads further complicates mobility in the city, making daily transport a challenging ordeal. Despite this lack of action by the authorities and the negligence that hinders the city's progress, the tenacity of Monrovians shines. Community efforts emerge to combat the problems caused by this governmental inaction, showing the firm will of the people to overcome obstacles. This reality fuels the hope that, eventually, the government will take matters into its own hands to improve the care of the city, ensuring the well-being of its citizens and turning Monrovia into a model of efficiency and livability. Liberia began its journey with high hopes that were soon clouded by economic struggles, debts to the United States, and the rule of corrupt and authoritarian governments. This adverse panorama hindered the country's progress and plunged its people into deep layers of misery. Efforts to forge a robust economy were overshadowed by the burden of debt and poor management, with leaders prioritizing their personal interests over collective progress. Entrenched corruption and neglect of infrastructure exacerbated the population's vulnerability, perpetuating a cycle of scarcity. However, Liberia continues to show an astonishing capacity for resilience and a desire to achieve a future worthy of the aspirations of freedom and equality of its founders, keeping alive the hope and determination to overcome adversities to build a flourishing and equitable country. In a country blessed with lush forests and winding rivers, spanning 111,000 square kilometers under the African sky, lives a people whose daily reality sharply contrasts with the natural wealth surrounding them. In Liberia, a nation conceived in dreams of freedom and dignity, more than 5 million people face the dilemma of living in one of the continent's richest regions while struggling to meet their basic needs. Multidimensional poverty, a scourge that transcends the mere lack of economic resources, traps much of the population in a vortex of deficiencies affecting education, health, and access to decent housing. Education, which should be the beacon illuminating the path forward, is often out of reach for many Liberian children and youths. They face overcrowded classes, a shortage of educational materials, and demotivated teachers in an educational environment where the potential of many young minds is compromised by a system barely staying afloat. The dream of a more promising future, built on knowledge and education, feels distant, like a mirage on the vast horizon. The health landscape in Liberia is equally disheartening. Afflicted by years of conflict, neglect, and a chronic shortage of resources, the healthcare system is unable to guarantee many citizens their fundamental right to health. In the available clinics and hospitals, efforts are made to provide basic care, but treatable diseases continue to be a premature cause of death. In this context, aspiring to a healthy life seems an unattainable luxury for most. The housing situation shares this harsh reality. Entire families cram into accommodations far from adequate, often lacking access to clean water, basic sanitation services, or electricity. In these dwellings, where privacy is a luxury and dignity is compromised, the daily struggle for survival overshadows any desire for comfort or security. What should be a safe haven becomes a constant reminder of the many struggles that remain to be faced. Multidimensional poverty in Liberia is a complex challenge that demands equally complex solutions. Merely increasing income or promoting economic growth is not enough. It is crucial to ensure that all Liberians have access to the opportunities and resources they need to lead a dignified and full life. This challenge transcends national borders, touching the deepest fibers of human dignity and social justice. Despite these formidable challenges, the spirit of Liberians remains firm and resilient. In every corner of the country, from the smallest communities to the busiest streets, stories of resistance, unity, and hope emerge. The battle against multidimensional poverty is tough and prolonged, but it is rooted in the iron will of a nation that refuses to be defined by its adversities. In Liberia, the effort to achieve a more promising tomorrow continues, driven by the conviction that, even in the face of the hardest trials, it is possible to emerge stronger, more cohesive, and more resilient. Ravaged by conflicts between 1989 and 2003, Liberia saw its social, political, and economic fabric crumble, with deeply neglected infrastructure. Charles Taylor, a key figure of that time, from military leader to president, exacerbated the crisis with his corruption and involvement in the trafficking of blood diamonds, fueling the war and perpetuating violence. Despite his downfall and conviction for war crimes, leaving the country in ruins, Liberia rises, propelled by the unbreakable spirit of its people, facing the challenge of rebuilding its economy, infrastructure, and healing social divisions. Moving forward with hope and determination, the country strives to leave its tumultuous past behind for a future of peace and development. Extreme poverty drives many families, including children, to engage in dangerous and inhumane work, such as breaking stones in quarries for meager sustenance. This harsh reality, opposite to any vision of abundance, underscores the daily struggle against the denial of fundamental rights such as education, health, and happiness. Children, forced to contribute to the family income, are deprived of education and play, trapped in a cycle of poverty and sacrifice. This scenario not only evidences a deep economic injustice, but also a failure in protecting the most vulnerable. The urgency for change demands a joint effort at a global level to eliminate the root causes of extreme poverty, promoting networks of social support, education, and decent employment, especially for children. Fighting this reality is a challenge, but essential to forge a world where no one, especially children, is stripped of their dignity for mere survival. We have navigated the challenges Liberia has faced, from its history marked by conflicts to the current struggles against poverty and degrading work conditions. Periods of conflict, the authoritarian leadership of Charles Taylor, and the economic and social repercussions underline a critical need for reconstruction and justice, particularly for children laboring in quarries. This story not only reflects the perseverance of Liberia, but also calls for global action to fight against injustices and advocate for a more promising future. If this video has moved you, do not hesitate to hit like to support us in sharing these revelations with more people. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future explorations. Do you have any questions, ideas, or suggestions on what other global mystery we should investigate? Leave your comment below. Your participation is vital in our community of the curious and those interested in uncovering the unknown. Together, we will continue unveiling the mysteries of our world, one story at a time. See you on our next adventure.